Hey, Denny Van here, Heartfelt Awakening. Thank you guys so much for being on this journey with me. We are on day 3 of our many days together, live every single day, going deep on honoring your awakening. Hey, welcome, and positioning yourself in a space of really waking up from this waking dream is the bottom line, is what we all want to do, right? So let me know that you're here. I am just going to make sure I have the ability, hey, welcome, so glad you're here, so that I can see all of the comments. Lovely to see you again, my friend. Very cool. I can see the comments, yay! All right, so let me know that you're here, and we are so excited to be bringing this to you, and actually this wouldn't be happening without the team behind me. So thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you, my right-hand man, for being here, and thank you for taking time out to learn about honoring your awakening to be happy, healthy, prosperous, and aligned. And we are teaching all of this week the foundation that you can spring forward from, if you will, and doesn't matter what your background is. So everybody here comes from various backgrounds. Hey, Rowan, so glad you're here. So who am I? I am Denny Van, and I help people heal so that they can step into being the change maker we so desperately need right now, right? I don't know what that is, but I'm really excited to be uncovering it. And just the last 2 days, your feedback and your messages to me have been just wonderful. So thank you for that. And so what we're going to be doing is every single day going through this and then following along in the workbook. And it's just a few pages. I believe it's only 5 or 6 pages. It's not very long, and I tried to keep it very simple, just black and white, no fancy colors or anything, but it's an actual worksheet where you fill in and you follow along and you do the work, because I know you're here to do the work. Let me know if you're here to do the work. This isn't easy work. Very good. So session 3, we're going to be going over a couple of concepts. And, you got to kind of get through the mind to get to this larger part of you, because the mind is the gatekeeper. Hey, welcome. So glad you guys are here. Very good. And so we are going to be following along this workbook. And if you don't have it, I'm sure my right-hand man will get the link. My workbook is open and ready. You are awesome. And I also, before we get started, just a couple of announcements. We are so excited to be offering 2 scholarships to our program. And so, yes, there's things you got to do, and you're here to do the work. And from the 30 years of my experience in working with clients over the years, I have to agree that out of all the people that start doing something, and I'm totally guilty of this too, 80% of us don't follow through. So what I'm trying to do is create some space for you so that you're that 20% that actually follows through and get the rewards and the benefits of knowing where the cause is and what is the effect. Very good. Hey, lovely. Thank you, Vanessa. So glad you're here. And so we're going to be offering 2 scholarships. And how do you qualify? Be here, do the work. If you can't be here live, that's fine, because we've got so many different time zones. Just hit replay, and my team in the background will be kind of, taking that information, and they will be deciding who gets the scholarship. So I'm really so excited about this. And so just so you know, engagement and do the work. So it's really benefiting both of us, because I love doing this part. Heartfelt. Wonderful. And so I think that's all of my notes. Let's get right into session 3, shall we? Pendulums versus penduluming. And how many here, if you're here live, if you are into the book Reality Transurfing, just let me know, hey, I'm a transurfer, or, I heard about it, but I really don't understand it. Just let me know where you're at in the comments, because I know when we ask the question, how did you hear about us? Many of you have heard about us through our course on Udemy on the mind map summaries of Reality Transurfing. So if you're here for that, you're going to want to stay for this one. We talked about the Russell of the Morning Stars in Energy 101 lab. So if you want to check that out, be sure to do that. But we are here to talk about pendulums and what that is, and this concept that incorporates physics and forces, unseen forces, and how they move, and then we apply it to ourselves. I haven't read the book, but I've studied it through lessons in another teacher. I did find you through that course, though. Oh, thank you for being here, darling. Yeah, it definitely helps to have, just glean out some things and start to apply to yourself. And so tonight, I want to talk about pendulums from the book. And it's the first, in the workbook, it says pendulums are a concept from the book, Reality Transurfing, Steps 1 through 5, by Vadim Zeland. And I can type that in. Steps 1 to 5 by Vadim Zeland. There it is. So that's the answer to this very first question here. Fill in the blank, if you will. So it's a very thick book. There's a lot of concepts, ideas, exercises, all kinds of stuff in there. And it's 765 pages and 19 chapters. So all we're going to be doing is talking about one idea from that book, pendulums. And basically there are forces at play that are unseen to us. And so some ways that we can activate these forces are by getting caught up in putting our awareness, our focus, and our attention onto something. So from our perspective here in Heartfelt Awakening, our most precious gift is our focus, awareness, and attention. This is your most precious gift. Sorry, we do have a full house of people here, so in case it's a little noisy. And penduluming is a verb that I coined to describe this phase that many of us are going through that we might call ascension symptoms. I'm feeling like I'm going through an awakening. I'm not sure if I'm going crazy or not. I think I might be going insane. I'm starting to have these conversations in my head. I can't stand being around people. Small talk pisses me off. So all of these things I've come across with many of you. So you're not alone, first of all. These are, you could call them ascension symptoms, but this is where your awareness is going out into the five sensory world, and then your awareness is coming in. But what we have a tendency to do is try to bring our five sensory world into our inner world. Because remember, we talked about this in Energy 101 and how you are two parts which create a whole, just like a hurricane. There's the I, which is nothing there. And then you have the moving bands, constantly changing, moving, unstable. So when we try to bring those moving bands inside the I, the whole system weakens. So we are the same, the inside of us, inside. When our awareness comes in, that penduluming out and in, when our awareness comes in, that's when it's like, oh my God, this is awakening, this is it. And then we bring our senses to the outside world. We are now in the bands of our hurricane. We're in the bands of the movements, because everything in this five sensory world is unstable, constantly moving. The only guarantee we have is change, right? But when we're in here, in this expansive nothingness, and for some people, and they experience this expansive nothingness, it feels like they're going insane or they're losing their mind, because you can't bring your mind with you, and the mind is very needy. You can't bring the mind with you. And so this is one of the hurdles that so many of us have. I can't quiet my mind. If you're not quieting your mind, you're stuck in the five sensory world. You're only in one part of you. And so we want to get to know this larger, unseen, metaphysical part of you, because this is where the magic happens. Not in this five sensory world, because what's happening in this five sensory world is done. It's the effect. The metaphysical world, this inside world, is the cause. So if we go in here, activate the heart center front and back, go in here and get to know this space, then we begin to detach. And like you said, I'm finding I'm moving away from everyone. Yeah, you're starting to detach. This is a natural process. This is why we do that exercise in creating your focus and aim, your relationship, and cultivating your relationships. And we do this with clients. And we go through a whole process of, okay, what are the relationships I want to cultivate? Because what happens is we end up isolating ourselves. And so you want to actively look at the relationships you have, the ones that are naturally going to fall away. That's part of that penduluming, going in and out. And things are going to naturally fall away, but then you come inside to the eye of your hurricane and stay open for what you want. Very good. Is the penduluming a rapid thing, or can it also be a slow process? I went through many years in a period when I felt like I partially went back to sleep and only just came back to more awareness this year. So you found yourself completely lost in the dream. Yeah, that's that penduluming. And it could happen really fast. It could be like your awareness is really important, because I get caught on pendulums where it's like, hey, Denny, take a look. There's an emergency. Oh, emergency, look over here. So I take all of my focus and attention on my aim, my purpose. And we go through all of that. We figure out, what is this goal? What is this goal? Because now I have to keep my focus and aim here, because the world is going to take me off. And this is true sin. When we get hooked onto a pendulum, say, hey, look over here. Give me your focus and attention. So now I'm off of this. This is me. This is what I should be doing every day for me, for my relationships, for my abundance energy. And then I keep track of my distractions. So as soon as I go off, I become aware. I'm off my purpose. The focus is the hardest, I find. Yes, and it is hard. But now, ask yourself a different question, Vanessa. Because, yes, focus is going to be hard. Now ask yourself a different question. How can I create a space where focus is easy? Because how we form our questions and how we talk, because you said the focus is the hardest part. So yes, I believe that, because it is the hardest part. So therefore, every time you try to focus, it's going to be one of the hardest parts. So now ask yourself a different statement. Create a different statement. Create an affirmation. Create a formula that has not only your words, but your emotions behind it. So now you can ask the question, how can focus become easier and easier for me? Then what you're doing, you're creating your focus and aim. You know the things you have to do for yourself every day, no questions asked. You know what you need to do to be cultivating your relationship. You know what you need to be doing for these things for yourself every day. And then once you get off of that, this is true sinning. Because you're now saying no to you and saying yes and feeding something else. So it takes focus, attention, and awareness, and we do this through our programs. We have a meditation that's free that trains your awareness. And so with this expanding your awareness, as soon as I get off my focus, I know it. Then I get back, and then I get back onto my focus. And this is the work. Awareness is key. And so pendulums, in the book Reality Transurfing, that is what this is. They're unconscious entities, really they're energy vampires that come and you look at it and now I'm feeding it. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you're feeding it, oh, I don't like that, or oh, I like that. It doesn't matter. You're feeding it. It is now taking your focus and awareness off of what you're supposed to be doing. So this is a pendulum coming at you. And if you can use your imagination if you need to. Imagine somebody coming at you, trying to get your attention, and boom, there you go. Now I'm off doing what I'm supposed to be doing. That is a pendulum, and that is explained in the book Reality Transurfing. Now, how to apply this concept, because there's these energy things, pendulums, structures. Vadim actually calls them structures. They have a structure to them, and they go out to get your focus and attention. And we always start these religion, politics, somebody else's drama, Facebook, they're all pendulums. Anything that takes your focus, attention, and awareness off of you is a pendulum. Now, you can choose to feed a pendulum. If you support something and you want to feed that, you can consciously choose. But so many times, because we're unable to keep our focus, awareness, and attention, that means it's not trained. That means every pendulum that's coming, we're going, oh, look at this over there. Oh, look, shiny object syndrome. Oh, look. And what I'm supposed to be doing is not being done. How many can relate? Yes, you're welcome, darling. Focus is the hardest part. But once you ask the right question, you don't have to do anything. And that's what, when you send your intention out, you use this outer intention, and the world meets us halfway. But what we tend to do is want to change the situation. This is using inner intention, and we only have so much inner intention. And usually that inner intention can only apply to ourselves. So we try to use inner intention to change what we're seeing, and it doesn't work. It only causes suffering, frustration, disappointment. So if we can set an outer intention and allow this understanding to come in and be able to apply it to yourself. Do you guys have any questions about pendulums versus penduluming? Very good. I'm just going to check the comments here, see how you guys are doing. What are some pendulums? Oh, so penduluming is a verb to describe the phase of spiritual awakening. So I call it, that's what I call this phase that so many of us are going through. That, oh my God, I'm going crazy. I can't stand talking to people. What the hell is going on with the world? Should I check out? I've had a couple clients we talked about, should I check out? Because what's the point? So we can't change the outer world, but we begin inside. What do you want to put your focus and attention on? Put your attention on that. But as soon as something comes at you saying, hey, look at this over there. Look at these children. What's happening over here? Yes, it's horrible, all of these things that are happening. But again, we're trying to change the effect. We have to come to the cause. And we can do this collectively as well. We can create, everything is a pendulum. Everything that you feed your energy to, your own focus and aim is your own pendulum. So we feed these structures. They're here. We feed them. What's important is that you're aware. And these are happening on an unseen level. Marketing knows this. Marketing knows this. So think about that for a second. Marketing studies this. If marketing's studying this, you should be studying this for yourself so that you're not pulled by a pendulum. But good for marketing because, there was a time where, I didn't want Facebook, and then it's like, you know what, we can use this for good. So create something good about it. And they do feed off of your energy. Excellent. So, next is, what are some pendulums that you are experiencing now? Hey, Joe. What are some pendulums that you are experiencing now? And so this is a wonderful opportunity to think about, all right, I think I'm kind of getting the concept of pendulums. Am I experiencing any in my life? So-and-so calls you up. They're having a problem with their boyfriend or girlfriend, and you got all of these other things you have to do for you, and yet you're spending time and you're feeding energy to it. So this is where boundaries are very important. You say, I have these priorities I got to get to, and as soon as they're done, you're next on the list. So getting your boundaries and your priorities in order. And if somebody becomes offended by, you saying, I have these things, and then boom, you're next. This is a way of kind of letting that stuff go, because then they're just showing you where they really are. So allow these things to happen, and people are going to show you how you want to be treated. And so you go inside and you realize, wow, that person's treating me this way. You go inside and you realize, oh, I've been feeding this pendulum. I've been mad about that person treating me this way and wishing that this person would treat me different. Now decide, you know what, I got boundaries. He's projecting onto me. He's showing me where he is. That's a pendulum. I'm not going to feed that anymore. Thank you, buddy. Bless you. Done. Done. Come back to your center. Every time you do this, you create more of this inner space. So it is a practice, because we're in the material world and it's moving and it's changing and it's exciting and it's depressing and all of these things are happening, and we're going out to see, hear, taste, smell, do all of these physical things, but we're not connecting to the other side of the mirror, that second part of us, and understanding when that energy comes in and we look at it and now we're off our path. Very good. You're welcome, darling. So, what are some pendulums that you are experiencing now? Now that you understand the idea or the concept of what these pendulums are and what they do, and there's another concept in the book talking about triggering balancing forces, because if you think of pendulums, they need some kind of balancing forces. I've definitely had people fall out of my life because they were treating me in a way that I didn't prefer and didn't react well to me trying to establish boundaries. Yeah, people will get mad when you start, when you didn't have boundaries before and they were pretty much able to use you as a doormat, and now all of a sudden you're saying, hey, take your shoes off before you come in the house. They'll be like, what? I don't like this. I'm going to go to somebody else where I can use them as a doormat. So good riddance. I mean, now you create space to find your tribe. Find like-minded people. And that's what we're doing in here, in this community. And we do this heartfelt, because this is, we're all going through this. And to give some of the basics that you can have massive change in just a few days with just some understanding about how physics and nature works, and then apply it to you. Massive shifts and massive change can happen just in these few days together, and it already has. Very good. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, darling. Very good. So, really quick, I think we are almost done. Your most precious gift is, and we've been talking about it. Your most precious gift is, can anybody tell me? I've probably said it over the last three sessions, maybe 25 or 30 times. Your most precious gift is. Yeah, your focus, attention, awareness. That is your most precious gift. Once you're connected to your awareness, and you know when you're going out into the movement, and you know when you're coming into the expansive nothing, stillness, unlimited, now you connect to your intuition, and you connect with your inner gifts. But your most precious gift, because you can't access them unless you have access to your most precious gift, and that is your focus, attention, and awareness. And as soon as that pendulum comes in, and as soon as I'm off, I mean, it happened like 5 times today somebody texted me, hey, I have an emergency, can you meet me at the hospital? And I'm like, in the middle of something, my focus, attention, awareness, and I just say, hey, what's up? And it was nothing. It was nothing. It ended up being, hey, no worry, I'll stop by later and I'll tell you about it. So if I was just like going off, oh my gosh, what's going on with the hospital? I gotta go kind of thing, I would have taken myself off. So as soon as it happened, I asked the question, is this really an emergency? What is going on? Come back, try and focus, get a response. It's not an emergency. So I was able to kind of keep my awareness centered. And this is the practice in understanding how pendulums work and how you going through the phase of penduluming. Very good. Thank you, Joe. You're so awesome. Thank you for being here, darling. Very cool. So we are at the end of this training. Unless there's any other questions, this is a pretty deep topic here. Pendulums versus penduluming. And I would love for you to let me know and write down what your biggest takeaway from tonight was in understanding how these energies work. He also goes into a little bit of pendulums in how we trigger balancing forces. Oh, you're welcome, darling. And what happens is I kind of visualize it as giving importance to something. And this is how you could be feeding a pendulum, by giving all of your attention, focus, and importance on something. And this is where people who practice law of attraction might be setting themselves up for the opposite. So for example, I really need this $20,000. I really need it. It's very important. I'm focusing on it every day. I'm looking at it. I'm focusing on it. I want this law of attraction. I feel it in my body. It's very important that I get this $20,000, and crickets. So what that looks like on a physics level and how balancing forces come into play. Imagine here's a scale, and the scale has to be balanced. So now we have $20,000 that we really need. Boom, we're looking at it. Now we're giving weight to it. I really, really need this. I really, really need this. But what we don't see, what we cannot see because it's part of the unseen, is what's happening on the other side. Physics. So we're looking energetically, giving really importance. I really, really need, please give me this $20,000. I can feel it. I can taste it. I'm writing the checks to myself and I'm looking at them. I really, really need this. But what we're doing is we're giving importance and weight to this. What's the matter, sweetheart? Sorry, my little boy's whining. So you're giving importance and weight, energetic weight, importance, mass relativity, if you will. So you're giving importance to this. And what's happening on the other side is unseen. And what happens over time, it gets to be too much. These balancing forces come and balance it out. You don't get your $20,000. So we go through a process of creating our definite purpose and our goal. So we go through this whole process of creating a statement, which becomes a formula, creating this statement, and not only having it understood intellectually, but we bring the heart and mind in unity. And this is called coherence. And so once you bring the heart and mind in unity, you create a frequency. And this is where the magic happens. I needed this today. You are so awesome, darling. You're welcome. I'm so glad you're getting this today. I understand how larger pendulums work for things like political things and sports teams and stuff, but I'm less clear about what pendulums are on a more personal level. Relationships can be pendulums. Thank you, Joe. You're so awesome. Your favorite TV show that you have to watch every week can be a pendulum. Anything that takes your awareness off of you and that you have to feed it your focus, attention, and awareness is a pendulum. Yes, pendulums are, you create your own pendulums. Which means you need to be a favorite of that pendulum, and then you need to find a way to feed that pendulum. What I'm doing here is a pendulum. So I'm trying to get your attention and say, hey, did you know this? Hey, did you know this? Did you know you can change your life completely? And I could be coming into your attention and grabbing your attention, hopefully in a good way. But, you know, news media knows this. They know things that really grab our attention is the bloody, gory stuff, right? Are they showing us the good, beautiful stuff that's happening in the world? No! There's no ratings. Very good. Those are all pendulums. Very good. So penduluming, let me ask you, how are you in understanding the verb for the phase that we go through of penduluming? It's like, oh my God, I'm awakened. I know what this is. I understand what Jesus was talking about, whatever that is for you. And then boom, here's the world slapping you in the face and going, where did that peace and joy go? It disappeared. So this is that phase I talk about that a lot of us here are experiencing. Many of you have said, answering the question, what has been your biggest challenge? Is that it was there and then it was gone. Where'd it go? This is the phase we're going through. It's like we're out in the world, five sensory world, boom, it's gone. Your eye has weakened. It started to close in on itself. And the mind is going, yeah, I didn't die. So when you come back into that expansive space, you might have thoughts that, you know, oh my gosh, I'm dying. I'm going crazy. This is normal. This is going beyond the mind because you have to let go of the mind. But don't worry, I can attest to this. It will still be there. I feel like it disappeared somewhat this weekend. It's still there, darling. You're just in the movement, that's all. Take time for you. Hey, Del. You're welcome, darling. So glad you're here. Very cool. So, any other questions about penduluming, pendulums from the concept in the book Reality Transurfing, Steps 1 through 5 by Vadim Zealand, or the verb penduluming, the phase to describe the awakening process, ascension symptoms, if you will. That's that penduluming. You're going into the eye. There it is. There's God. All that is unlimited, timeless. Nothing. There's no Denny here. There's no woman here, sister, mother. There's none of that here. But it's here in the five sensory world. And I know when I come back, I'll be here in the five sensory world. The Matrix tries to pull us back in. Yes, there's a strong pull. You know why? We do like our five senses. We love our five senses, especially the senses of sex and pleasure. We like that, you know, and that could be smoking, drinking, actual sex. We are very, very attached to our physical world, definitely, and that's the Matrix. So as soon as you get out of the Matrix and you see it for what it is, whoa, and then all of a sudden you're back living in it and then trying to like peel yourself back off, that's that penduluming. Sometimes it takes a little bit because, whoa, where did that come from? So yeah, this is normal. This is normal, but with awareness, this is where the magic happens. This is where the magic happens. And some of us who are going through healing trauma, once that trauma is let go, that constriction of energy within us that we tend to push down and not want to deal with and spiritually bypass and feel anything other than that trauma, get stoned, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever it is, we'll do anything other than deal with that. This could also be constricting you from opening up fully to your most beautiful potential. So we do this work. We start to heal. This is why sometimes we need to heal in order to step into being what you're here to do. We're not here to be pissed off at each other and divided and turn toward each other. No, we're not here. There's an agenda behind all of that. So we are here to create community, to move from the root chakra and to love and accept ourselves first, because once we do that, then we can love and accept our neighbor. But they're always talking about loving your neighbor. How can you love your neighbor or even your significant other if you don't love yourself? You don't know how to love your neighbor if you don't love yourself. It's got to start with the cause. Then the effect just happens naturally. Nothing you have to do. Very good. Jedi Warriors, 1921 senses. You're going to have to fill me in on what that means, Joe. I know about Star Wars. I am a little bit of a geek there. 19 of the 21 senses. Senseis? I have a sensei. So, would the strained relationships with my family and my health issues be pendulums? Yes. Stop calling them strained relationships. Let go of that word. They just are. That's the way the family is right now. Nothing you can do about it. So let go that they're strained. Don't put any attention on the word strained or the feeling strained, even though it might be strained. They're just projecting on you. That's all. Go take a shower and energetically clear that off. But you can create some space between you and them energetically. Just let them do their thing. You're here to do yours. Very good. With my family and my health issues be pendulums. Your health issues? Yes. When I was going through whether or not I take chemotherapy and radiation and allow my body to heal, I had to stop calling it health issues. I'm on my healing journey. So this is how we're asking questions. If we keep calling it health issues, guess what the universe is going to bring us? More health issues. If we keep talking about my healing journey, the universe is going to bring to you, oh, check out this. This is going to help you with this. I had things come into my experience that I never heard of that worked. I said no to chemotherapy and radiation. I said no. And they told me I'd have 2 years to live. Now, there's another thing I could think, oh my God, I only have 2 years to live. Fear, 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 fear. And I didn't let that seed come in me and take hold. I said, that's what you said. And I had an experience where I had a younger brother. I have a younger brother who has a heart condition, and it's genetic. And they kept telling my mom when he was little, oh, he probably won't live past a year. Then it was, oh, he probably won't live past 2 years. Then it was, oh, he probably won't live past 5 years. Then it was, he probably won't live past this minute. Finally, my mom said, stop telling me how long he's going to live. And so when the doctor told me, you're only going to live 2 years, it reminded me of that. It's like they have no idea what they're talking about. So I was able to let that go. So come to a place where you're asking better questions, darling. Google how many senses do we have. Some say 19, some say 21. Well, internally, I would say unlimited. Externally, I would say 6. Externally and internally. But you know what? They're all senses. And it's all really just energy. Same thing. Beautiful. Thank you for that, Joe. Very cool. So what I would love for you to do is, write down your takeaway from today's session, because we went over a lot of information, some concepts that the mind is kind of, do I believe this? And then what's going to happen is you're going to start to experience it. And you're going to start to recognize, oh, something is coming in to grab my attention. Oh, now here's the thing. Here's the alchemy part. I'm going to give you a little secret. When you get to a place where a pendulum is coming at you, you're aware of it, but you give it none of your attention. There's nothing here for it to grab onto. And then it lets go. You keep that energy. You keep that energy. This is how you create more space. This is how you create more focus, awareness, and attention. Perfect. My dentist told me I had some permanent damage to my teeth, and the last checkup he said that it had actually improved. So you're right. They don't know. They really don't know. And so this is a good thing to bring up tomorrow, because tomorrow, thank you, Rowan, for that perfect segue. Tomorrow we're going to be going over the Alchemy of Awakening, and you're going to learn a simple tool, EFT, to, just a few minutes of this. So you could be tapping on, even though my dentist told me that there's permanent damage to my teeth, even though I'm afraid, I don't want my teeth to be damaged. It makes my body tight. I don't like it. Even though these things are happening, I choose. And just sit in the nothingness. You don't have to do anything. What you're doing is bringing your mind and heart in coherence for that frequency. You just tapped on your teeth, and that frequency sends healing chemical reactions, serotonin, relaxin, good hormones throughout the whole body. And if you can tap on it, whatever you're fearing, even though this is happening, even though I feel these things, you're acknowledging, I acknowledge these things are happening. You're acknowledging it's happening, so we're not spiritual bypassing. And so we're going to get into detail, and I would love for you to bring that issue tomorrow, and we can tap on it. Oil wick with coconut oil. Are you going to light a candle? What's an oil wick with coconut oil? You lost me. Maybe my focus and attention is not so good tonight, eh, Joe? Okay, so I would love your takeaway from today. What really helped you? Eric Joseph. Thank you, Joe. What will help? What is your biggest takeaway? What helped you tonight to maybe create some of those internal shifts with connection to your mind, body, breath, and spirit? So you may have noticed that the mind might have slowed down, your breath may have slowed down, and you may naturally come into this space. We need to take this time to get here, to become familiar with it. And if you can do that for maybe 2 minutes throughout the day, just 2 minutes, close your eyes and shut yourself off to the material world and come into the kingdom of the heavens within, and just sit here for 2 minutes. Put a timer on, because you never know, 25 minutes might feel like 2 minutes. It's happened. So put a timer on if you need to, especially if you're at work. Put a timer on and just do nothing for 2 minutes. Just be with this larger part of you. Get to know this part of you. Very good. Very good. My takeaway is that I need to take more conscious charge of my focus to create change in my life. So now you're aware of it. Just only become aware of when you're not in your awareness. Because as soon as we're not focused and aware, we are now asleep. That's what it means by being asleep in the waking world. And when you come to your center, there's no one here to get offended. There's no one here to feed any of the energies, even though they really try. And I become aware. I'm becoming more and more aware when my focus goes off. And this is the work. This is the process. Swish coconut, oil pulling. That's what you're talking about, Joe. Swish coconut oil in the mouth for 15 minutes. Germs and infections will be pulled out of gums, etc. Spit it out. Yeah, you don't want to swallow that shit. And then you can YouTube for videos. YouTube oil pulling. That's really good, because the condition of your whole body shows up first in your teeth, in your mouth. Very good. Thank you for that, Joe. Added bonus. Very good. So, I want to remind you, we are going to be live tomorrow. I had to change the time from 5 to 6 because I realized I'm going to be traveling, so I didn't account for travel time. So we are going to be meeting tomorrow at 6 p.m. and we are going to be going over session 4, and that's the Alchemy of Awakening. So if you don't have the workbook yet, we can give you instructions on how to get that. It's super easy. We tried to make things easy, like super, super easy, because, I'm not that kind of a techie, but it's my team behind me. So thank you. And if you need any help, Monica Art Trip is my right-hand man. Tag her if you need her. And if there are no other questions, we are so excited to be bringing you this, to honor your awakening, to be happy healthy, prosperous, and aligned, and understanding just these basics, just the basics of, first of all, where's your starting point in treating your awakening like a scientist? We already got our starting point. And then Energy Lab 101, how you are two parts, which create a whole. And we know one of our parts oh so well, the physical part, this body, my mannequin or my meat suit, and all of the five senses that come with it. And understanding that there's another part to you, and we can shift our awareness to this unlimited, healing, expansive part. And then today, talking about pendulums versus penduluming, and understanding how these unseen forces work in nature and in physics, and then apply to ourselves so that we can also understand how the energy within ourselves work. So and tomorrow we're going to be going over the Alchemy of Awakening, then we're going to have all kinds of questions and answers. So again, if you are here to do the scholarship and stuff like that, thank you for being here. We are so excited. We're going to be announcing the scholarship winners on day 5. So day 5, we'll be announcing the scholarship winners. Tomorrow, we're going to be meeting at 6 o'clock. I changed it in the events. I'll be posting that sign. And then we're going to be going through Sunday, answering questions, demos, talking to you, talking about our services, and answering any questions about those. And then I want to let you know that the replays for the entire week will be available until Wednesday. I do believe Wednesday, I'm going to check my calendar to confirm, Wednesday the 23rd. So we'll be done on Sunday the 20th, but the videos will be kept up until Wednesday the 23rd, and then we'll be taking those down. And we will be here to answer any of your questions, and you can also send a message to me at any time. Okay, thank you. Waterpick has what made the major change for me. Excellent. Good advice. Thank you. Perfect. All right, so if there are no more questions, I am so looking forward to tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for being here. Very good. If there are no other questions, it's time for me to play until the video catches up. Do I do the cat again? Wait, what's this? Oh, lovely. I love you. La, 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 la. Oh, look. I am singing rainbows. Rainbows. Oh my God, that's so awesome. It's so weird now. Okay, we are caught up.